Welcome to the video, my good friends. I thank you for checking out our little channel. My name is Spaghetti and Memeballs, Unflinching Alva, possibly even Luke, depending on where you know me from. So, you've just bought Marauders and tried to play it, but found it a bit hard? Maybe you've been playing for a bit now, but you could use some pointers. Maybe it's downloading and you need some knowledge. Good job. I think you'll be pleased with the game, and hopefully you'll learn a thing or two here in this video. So let's go over some disclaimers. Marauders is currently in early access. Some of this, or hell, even all of what I'm about to tell you could change. It's just the nature of things. I made this guide specifically for the new Red Baron update that just came out, as I feel other guys might be a bit dated. With that out of the way, let's get into it. I'll be doing some of this in-game, and also recording a little bit of it outside of the game, like I'm doing right now. So what is Marauders? Now, I'll assume you've played an FPS before. However, I'm not going to assume you've played something like Tarkov, The Cycle, or Hunt Showdown before, just to be on the safe side. If you already know this stuff, feel free to skip ahead to the next timestamp. Maybe this is your first time trying out an extraction shooter. Well, welcome to my favorite FPS genre. Marauders is a match-based, permadeath, PvPvE extraction looter shooter. Big title, I know, but that's what it is. But Alva, what does all that mean? Marauders uses a match system called a raid. A raid is a match like any other FPS. It's not open world, per se. You have 30 minutes to get into a raid location and loot, kill, escape. Permadeath means that when you die, everything you had on you is lost. I mean everything. Your guns, your armor, the items you picked up along the way, etc. There is not an insurance system like in Tarkov or The Cycle, so once you die, it's all gone. PvPvE means player versus enemies, meaning you will fight other players as well as AI. There are all types of enemies in Marauders as well, and we'll go over them in a bit. Extraction just means you must leave the match or raid location. When the timer runs out, the round is over, but that's not a good thing. In Marauders, it means you ran out of oxygen and suffocated, i.e. death. Looter shooter just means the main thing you'll be doing is collecting loot to further whatever goal you're currently after. It could be a mission item, a crafting item, whatever the goal is. So that's some general info on Marauders. You'll enter a raid in a spaceship, dock at a location, loot, kill other players and AI, and hopefully get out with your Real quick, what's a wipe? Marauders just had to do a wipe due to its updated quest system. You'll hear this term sometimes in regards to other games as well, and what it means is everything is reset. You'll lose your stash, your gear, your ships, your cosmetics, your level, everything. It's like you just bought the game all over again. I know this sounds annoying, but have no fear, as this shouldn't happen often or on a specific cycle like other games. Marauders devs, Small Impact Games, have said they will avoid wipes unless it's absolutely necessary. This did just happen, so you'll see how I am low level and broke. So let's get into a game. Let me boot up Marauders here and go through some of the basic menus, that way you know what you're looking through and kinda how to play the game. Okay, so welcome into Marauders. This is the main menu that you'll be greeted with. Let's go over a few things here. Start here at the bottom. This is the leaderboard. Tells you who has the most amount of kills. As you can see, I'm incredibly good at this game. A support ticket will take you to Team 17's website where you will be able to submit, well, a support ticket. Options are where you find all the usual stuff. Video, audio, gameplay settings, controls. You can do your key bindings. How do you want to have crouch toggle, ADS lean, stuff like that. Over here on the bottom right are all the socials and news and guides and stuff like that. Up here in the top right is your profile picture, the amount of money you have. Prestige tokens. Prestige tokens, really quickly, are what you get when you reach level 50 and you self-wipe your account. The only thing that you keep is your cosmetics when you do things like that, when you do a wipe. So every time you prestige, you get 1 token, and every following prestige, you will generally get more tokens. So the first prestige you'll get 1, the second prestige, I think you get 3. Prestige tokens are used to unlock more inventory space and stuff like that. how many crafting tokens you have. Crafting tokens are used to unlock recipes. You get those naturally as you level up. This is your name, this is your level, and if you click this little button here, this is your stats. As you can see, it tells you the amount of XP I need to get to the next level, money, all this stuff, and it tells you general stats. Total raids, how many I escaped, how many I died in, my survival rate, kills, stuff like that. I want to go ahead and point out that this doesn't matter. None of this matters other than really this stuff up top. This stuff down here is just for fun. Don't worry about your survival rate. If you're having fun and you're dying a lot, that's totally fine. And if you've got like 100% survival rate and you're just totally ratting around and you're having fun, that's fine. Don't let anybody tell you how to play this game. If you are having fun, that's literally all that matters. None of this matters. I promise. So let's go over here. Up here is how you create a crew. If you were wanting friends to join you, this is the way to do it. You'll be prompted to... You'll be prompted to name your crew and set a password and decide whether it's locked or opened. Currently, there is no crew chat in the game, so if you unlock this, they're not going to be able to talk to you other than using the in-game messaging. And by in-game messaging, I mean like the characters shouting at each other. There's no like typing or anything like that. Joining a crew, same way. You get to look through all this stuff. If it's got a password, whatever, friends only, crew find by searching, stuff like that. Then obviously launch is to enter a raid, but we're not going to do that right now. So let's talk about your stash and your gear. So here on the right is your stash. If you've just bought the game, it's going to look a lot different than mine. It'll still have the same amount, but you'll probably have some MP40s, some ammo up here, I think some armor and helmets down here. It'll just be a little bit different, but these are still the same sizes. All of this stuff stays. No matter what happens to you in-game, you don't lose any of this stuff. This is your ammo and guns. You can put this stuff anywhere you want to. It doesn't have to be, a certain spot. You can even stuff stuff in backpacks if you wanted to for extra storage. That's just one of the many things you could do. I've just organized it this way for now. Later on, you can get some crates to put even more stuff in so you have even more room. So speaking, this is where you put all of your stuff. Anything you want to keep in a stash for later use, for crafting, for turning into quests, anything like that, this is the place you want to keep it. I wouldn't suggest filling it entirely up. Always try to keep some room laying around because if you ever have to turn in a quest, it'll need space in your inventory. This is your character. He has slots for a backpack, a helmet, a piece of armor, 2 primaries, a secondary, a melee, and 4 empty slots. To gear up your character, simply click and drag and drop where you want it. So you can put all this stuff on here, just like that. Grab a box of ammo. That's the wrong ammo for that gun, but you get the point. Band-aid, and you're ready to rock. If you wanted to hop into a raid right now, this would be the way to go. Obviously, when you put a backpack on, there's a bunch of these squares that pop up. This is the backpack storage. You can fold the backpack, but that's not really an important thing at the moment, so I wouldn't worry about that too much. Another thing I'd like to point out right quick is the armor. Some armor, like this M1 flak rig, also comes with its own storage. So I get extra slots for the backpack and the vest. So something to keep in mind. Not all armor is like this, of course. If you look at this flak vest, it does not come with anything. Now, if we were to go into a raid right now and die, everything over here is lost. We would lose the bag, the hat, the gun, the ammo, everything. None of this stuff comes back. Again, this stuff stays. This doesn't go anywhere. This, however, does. So keep that in mind when you load up. We'll come back here and go over some loadout ideas for your first raid. But for now, let's just go ahead and strip my character down again. Let's go over some controls for this too, I guess, while we're here. So if you click and hit R, you can rotate. So that can help play Tetris a little bit better. Obviously, if it's a 2x2, which that's what these squares are. So you can see each of them take up a slot. So this is a 3x3, 2x2, 2x3. So anytime you want to rotate stuff like this, like I can't fit my gun here, but if I hit R, boom, there you go. Easy enough. So that's click and R. Another thing to split stacks. Grab a box of ammo. As you're holding it, hit control, place it, and it'll let you split. There isn't currently a way to quick equip weapons, so you can't hit control and click like in some other games. You do have to manually drag for now. So let's go to the trading menu. So right now we're going to focus on this tab. We'll come back to the market tab later. This is the character's name over here. This is Major Rosie. She's a part of the United Allies. She leaves in 6 minutes and 30 seconds. So unlike some other games, you don't get to pick and choose which traders you go see. They're only here for a limited amount of time. Generally, it's about 15 minutes. You might go into a raid and die and come back, and this will be a totally different character. So while they're here, you might want to load up. This will kind of give you a short little description of them, a little lore stuff, why they're here. This is their level. I have her at level 0, but I have some experience points. I'm working towards the next level, so I'm at 15. 35, I need so much XP to get her to level 2, or well, level 1, I should say. This is the amount of discount she offers right now, which is 0. Everything here that is lit up is for sale. I can buy currently. All of this stuff is stuff I can unlock as I level up her trader level. Not my level, but her trader level, which we'll get into. There's currently 4 traders: Central Empire, United Allies, Kingdom Alliance, and the Pirates. Again, each of these have a different level associated with them that you can see that I'm at certain different levels with Central Empire and Pirates. I'm level 0 with Kingdom Alliance. You get the point. If you want to buy something, simply grab it, drag it over, and let go. I just bought an Uzi. If you want to sell something, it works the same way. Click something, drag it, let go. All traders buy every item in the game. I don't think that any trader will currently deny trading with you. As long as you have the money to buy something, or you're good to go. And they don't have a sell limit either, like in an RPG or anything. You can sell as much stuff as you want. Another thing to keep in mind, you can see I have 8 out of 8 and it sells for $272. This is the whole stack of 8. This number right here is exactly what I'm going to get out of the stack. If you split this, the money goes down. So the amount of money you're seeing down here is the whole amount you'll get for selling all of this. So if we sold all of this, we're getting $272. So let's go to the crafting menu. This is a crafting menu. These are the unlocked recipes I have. These are the locked recipes. We talked about the little tokens up here earlier. Again, this is what these are for. Obviously, this small shield is a contract unlock, so we get that for completing a mission. But something like this stem wooden stock, we need to be level 2. We need to have 3 crafting tokens, which we do have, and we need to have $3,700. If we wanted to, we could go ahead and unlock that. And you know what? Let's just go ahead and do that. And now we can see what it's going to cost to craft it. So be sure to look through all this. You get a lot of really, really useful stuff like the lockpicks and the sack bag and bandage really, really early on in the game. Please, please, please unlock those and look through them. It will help you astronomically. If you look right now, she doesn't have any really good healing items. And the food can's all right. The water's terrible. They're both honestly not great. I would way rather have a bandage than I ever would either one of those. They're really cheap. They're 1 synthetic scrap, which I'll teach you how to get some scrap here in just a minute. So obviously, if we wanted to craft, it'll tell us how many of these we have in our inventory, which is right over here. You don't need to come check. And we need 1, so we just hit craft. This will tell us how many seconds it'll take too. So craft, 8 seconds. Let it count down. Go ahead and scroll up here because when you click this, it's not going to move it with my other bandages. It will just pick the most available slot. So that's that. So what about breaking things down? You see this scrapping thing here, and this goes hand in hand with finding this scrap here. If you buy, say, this flak vest, and you come back to the crafting, if you click on it over here, it'll tell you the potential chance for what you're going to get. 75% chance for synthetic scrap, a 25% chance for junk scrap. Drag it in here, let go, we get 1 synthetic scrap. Drag it over here. Let's go back, let's buy a couple more off of her. We'll scrap these quite a bit, and we got 3 synthetic scrap. That's good. I use that stuff quite a bit. So that's actually a really reliable way to get the scraps. And obviously guns give you metal. I can afford this. Guns give you metal scrap. Of course, we got junk scrap, but that's okay. We need a little bit of that. This is a perfect way to keep your supplies up. If you ever have a little bit of a surplus of money, go ahead and scrap things down. There's nothing wrong with going to a trader, buying a few vests, buying a few Uzis, and scrapping them down into these materials. I rarely ever buy guns and armor anymore. Well, guns I buy, but armor and helmets anymore because I just straight craft them because I break everything down. It's just one of these things to keep in mind. I would definitely come over here as soon as you possibly can, figure out what you need to unlock these things, and start scrapping things down when you don't need them anymore. Same thing, if you have a gun that's about to break and you're not going to use it again, just go ahead and scrap it, get the metal scrap out of the way. Perfect way to keep yourself stocked up. So over here in the appearance tab, you have, well, the appearances. You can change these to whatever you want as long as you have it unlocked. These first ones, these Raider variants, are all locked, but you can unlock them with money. There's no level requirements. These are really useful to keep you and your mates all together and visible, and so you know they're always wearing blue. We've always leaned towards the private security suit just because it's got the patch on it. It's got these bright yellow, it's got the blue. It just, nobody really wears the blue. If you pre-ordered the game, you'll get the Space Pirate set, Red Baron set. it'll tell you what these need to unlock them as well. So this one needs $31,000 and level 15 to unlock it. You can also go to the head and change your head. Again, these are all unlocked from the start. You just need to buy them. These are unlocked by level or by contract or by certain things. Like I know the SAS is just really expensive. The Red Baron, you must kill him 20 times to get that. The thing is super sick. And you can change your voice. Kingdom Alliance, United Alliance, Central Empire, which is English, French, and I believe it's Italian, but some people have told me it's Polish, so I'm not really sure. I'm not a linguist. I'm just a dumb old American. So let's talk about the weapon menu. This is the weapon menu. There's two ways of getting into it. You can click here, or you can go to your gear and right-click and go to weapon menu, and that'll take you. This shows you all the stats of the gun over here on the right. This shows you all the available guns in your stash. You can cycle through them. Some of them you can put different attachments on if you have them. Obviously, currently I don't have any attachments for the club or any of my guns per se. Not all of them you can put muzzles on and stuff. It's each is a little bit different. So this one only takes stocks and mags. This one takes all three. So kind of fun to see, what the fire rate, what capacity you're working with. So 24, recoil, damage, stuff like that. It's really, really nice to keep this in mind. Use it often whenever you encounter a new gun if you want to know the stats. This is the hangar. This is where your ships are stored. You can have 3 ships. You will always have a rust bucket. So do not worry about going into a raid and your ship blowing up. You do have a rust bucket at all times. Do not worry about that, please. No matter what happens, you will always be able to get into a raid. That's something I'd also like to clarify right quick. No matter what happens, you can always go into a raid. You'll always have a ship. You'll always have a way. If you had better ships in the rust bucket, it doesn't take any attachments or anything like that. Down here, it'll light up and it'll say, oh, if you had this in your inventory, you could put like a rocket launcher on it or torpedo launchers on it and stuff like that. So really, really handy little thing. So let's talk about questing. So the main quest you will have is your 0 to Hero. 0 to Hero is the quote-unquote main quest of Marauders. You want to pick this up as soon as you possibly can. It's basically just turn in 3 scraps, junk scraps, and you're good to go. Get this as soon as you possibly can, and you'll slowly start to follow these in a linear fashion. You can never see what's ahead and can't complete them until you get there. So like the first one's turn in 3 junk scrap. This one you got to find a forklift on one of the maps. You got to gather 3 M1 helmets. And once I do that, I just keep going. Now this isn't the only thing I'll have to do during a raid. There's other quests that we're about to get into, so don't worry about like taking these and being like locked out of other content. You have more ways to do missions than just these. The next place to find missions is to go to the market right here. These aren't really missions, more so turn-ins. So if you look, this guy needs 8 copper coins and $5,000, and he'll give us these rewards. This guy needs 12 metal scraps, and he'll give us a gold coin. This guy takes a gold bullion, he'll give us a supply drop. So if you ever see these, take a good look at these at the beginning of the day. Whenever you start your raiding in the evening, they reset once a day, and look through them and see like, okay, well, I could use a medical crate, or I really need this gold coin, or I really need some 7.62. Well, keep an eye out for 8 copper coins while you're in a raid, and you can bring them back and turn them in, and you will get this stuff. The last thing that is quest related is in a raid, but we'll get into that later. There's raid missions that only appear during raids. So Alva, what about my loadout? What do I bring in? What do I do? What do I need? I got you. And this is it. That's it. That's all you need. But that's nothing. You're correct. And the whole reason I tell you this is because when you spawn in the rust bucket for the first time, there will be a pistol, a rig with a couple slots, and a pack of ammo. Now that's not a lot, but you're going to die. And that's okay, but I'm just letting you know that it is a viable thing to do. If you just want to get a feel for the game and a feel for the maps, that would be a good, cheap, easy way to do it without totally going broke. That's something else, like I was saying back in the hangar, there will always be a way to make money. When you have the rust bucket, going in with just the pistol and rig that spawns in the rust bucket is an excellent way to level up and make money. If you just get several of the AI kills, you will level up significantly. Even better if you can figure out how to do the missions while you're in a raid. I don't recommend this for everybody, but if you're really just nervous about going broke, you're really not good at these games, you're really scared at first, this might be something you want to take into consideration. However, avoiding PvP and being scared all the time will not make you a better player. I want to point that out. It's okay if you want to rat around, but that takes some skill too. Ratting isn't just as easy as, hiding all the time. There is a skill form to it. I mean, I know the Chads are really mad about me saying that, but it's the truth. Ratting does take some skill. You can be a middle of the road kind of player like I am, and I'm not really scared of fights, but I don't chase fights. I don't, if I hear somebody firing, I'm not going to go press them. As far as what you're going to start with if you just bought the game, taking in an MP40, 2 stacks of ammo, some bandages if you can find them, or some sort of food item, and a backpack would be the best option. So something that would be similar for me right now, I would take in a MAT 49. Another quick little thing for all of this right quick. This is the gun's name. This is the ammo it takes. So we need to take in 32. I'll go ahead and take 2 boxes. That generally seems to do me pretty well. I would not take in less than 60 though. That's a bare minimum right here. You're not going to make it too far unless you're scavenging or you're really broke. The next thing I would do is take a couple bandages or some sort of food item and put them here. Now, if you don't have a backpack or anything, obviously you're not going to make much money. You're going to try to find one or kill somebody and take their backpack. Some AI does spawn with a backpack, but it's very, very seldom. Another thing I want to quickly go back to, this is the gun's durability. It's 60 out of 60, meaning that it's not a risk of breaking. If a weapon breaks in game, it's unusable. And this right here is how much ammo it holds and how much ammo is in it. So currently it's empty. If I drag and drop, it now has full magazine. So we'll go ahead and drag on a vest, drag on a helmet, and drag on a backpack. This would be an okay loadout for me. One other thing I would like to take is a lockpick. If I could do it correctly. I'd like to take in a lockpick. That way any doors I come across that I want to open up, I can do so. So play around with this. If you're really worried about losing your gear, which that's going to happen, don't have gear fear. Gear comes and goes. I don't know if anybody's ever told you this, but if you find like a heavy Thompson or something and you love using it, don't save it for some sort of raid you're planning, because that raid's never going to happen. Like, you're never going to know when you're going to run into a 4-man that's stacked, and by you being cheap and not bringing in your gear, you just lost a fight. I mean, you were probably going to lose it anyway, but there's never this magical thing that just like lets you know how good you're about to do. Like, oh, I'll need the STG for this raid. That's really silly. The better gear you bring in, the better you will perform because of your confidence level. That's something that's so understated. The better gear you bring in, the better you do due to confidence. You can take more shots. You're going to feel better wearing your gear. So use your gear. Do not let it sit there and get wasted. I can understand that if you're going to save an STG because you want to get a Panzer helmet and a Panzer rig and you want to go with a fully geared load. I totally get that one, but don't sit on that fully geared kit forever waiting for some raid. That's not going to happen. So why don't we stop and take a break here and look at the things you will be finding in a raid. So first off, loot, and what should you be looting in a raid? Well, that all depends on what you're looking for. If it's a quest item, obviously that. I know you're asking about valuables, though. So I've come up with a list of loot I would prioritize in my raids, and I will separate these into categories. I want to point out that a lot of these can be used for turn-ins and quests as well, so don't expect everything in the crafting section to just be used for crafting. This also isn't an exhaustive list. I won't be doing all the weapons and new stuff that you can find, for example. This is just to give you an idea, and it really is a lot of the items. In fact, most of the items. So first up, let's do crafting. This is the most common stuff you'll be finding in a raid. These are things like cables, chemicals, disinfectant, fabric, fuel bottles, gunpowder, high-grade gunpowder, junk scrap, large cables, leather strips, metal scrap, metal sheet, nuclear material, reinforced metal, synthetic scrap, toolkits. Next, you have the valuables. These are your higher tier loot items. They can be found anywhere, but most of the time you'll find them in the higher loot zones or locked behind depot doors or vaults. These are things like banknotes, CE intel documents, CE war bonds, copper coins, gold bullions, gold coins, gold rings, kingdom intel documents, KA war bonds, nickel ore, silver coins, transmitters, UA intel documents, UA war bonds. Finally, the last thing you have are keys. Keys unlock a variety of things. It's quite simple. These are things like captain's key cards. They open the airlocks to whichever airlock the ship is docked at. Lockpicks, well, they lockpick locked doors. Then you have depot tokens like the mine token, Navy outpost token, the port token, prison token, terraformer token. These are used to unlock special depot doors that can't be unlocked unless you have these tokens. So take note of these when you find them. You can open up a depot just like that. A quick little two other things you can find are industrial paper and motor oil, as well as some medical crates and ration crates and stuff like that. But those are all generally, again, just used to turn in for little dailies and quests like that. So what kind of enemies will you be facing? If you get confused about how they look, I will list their cosmetic names so you can look it up in the Appearance tab if needed. You will most often find Raiders. Raiders were the default Raider set known as the Civilian Pressure Suit. They come in all colors and have lower to medium tier gear. They're weak and really easy to take down once you get used to them. Security personnel spawn in the Interceptor and Merchant ships. They wear the security set called the Private Security Pressure Suit and yellow helmets. They carry pretty weak gear and are also pretty easy to handle. Miners are a civilian faction and spawn only in the mine. They wear the miner set called Asteroid Mining Safety Gear. They often don't carry any weapons, and if they do, it's a melee weapon. They are super easy to kill. You kind of feel bad about it sometimes. If you see they are unarmed, there is no harm in letting them live. Prisoners are encountered on the prison colony map. They wear the prisoner set called Department of Corrections Pressure Suit. They often wear no armor, but can have up to medium tier guns and armor. They are sometimes a threat when they carry the saw-off shotgun for some reason. SAS are found on the Navy outpost. They wear the SAS set called the Special Forces Pressure Suit. They have medium tier gear and can be a threat in numbers as they each have very high health. Commandos can be found on all maps and their disabled capital ship, but you will not see them in Navy outpost. They wear the commando set called the Advanced Military Pressure Suit. They often carry high-tier weapons and are a threat if you don't know how to handle them. Take it slow as they will cut you down quickly. The Red Baron is a new addition. He's actually a boss and is currently the only boss-type enemy. He wears his own special set called the Red Baron set. He has high health and high-tier loot. He also has his own custom ship that is incredibly fast and deadly. The AI are all really not that tough at the moment, but can be a challenge for newer players. Just take it slow, aim for the head, and don't hesitate to retreat if you're getting your ass kicked. Okay, come here. A little closer. So now that we've been through the menus and the suggestions, I want to stop really quickly and give you a little pep talk. So you are about to enter your first raid. Let's be honest about this situation. You're likely to die. It doesn't matter what loadout you took. Death might come from another player, an AI, getting lost, or a simple mistake. Death lurks around every corner in Marauders, and it'll get you often. But that's okay. It's more than okay. You're learning something new. None of us started out good at this. Do not get down on yourself or think the game sucks. It's just tough and has a decent learning curve. I get killed all the time. I am not great at PvP. It's just never been a strong point for me, and I've accepted that. But you will find your rhythm, and you will start winning, little by little. Just give it time. One thing about these types of games is the uncertainty. Some nights, me and my friends absolutely decimate lobbies, clean out loot, do all our missions, etc. And then there are nights where we just get beat down every raid. We've had nights where literally every single raid ends with our deaths, but that's just how it is. You ride the highs and cry on the lows. It just happens. We've all been there. Hell, I'll probably die in these raids you're about to see. One last thing to keep in mind, don't be scared. I promise not everyone is some sort of Chad. 90% of players are just like you and me, just decent Marauders players. It's nothing to worry about. Go in there with some confidence and get your shit done. Also stop crouching and moving when you just leave the airlock. They probably can't hear you. I would also like to point out real quick that when we do these first few raids, I will be focused purely on survival, quests, and getting a little loot. I'm not going to push fights unless I have to. So if you're looking for a PvP Chad to learn from, I ain't it. Let's get to raiding. Okay, so as soon as you hit that launch button, it starts searching for a match. Make sure if you're in a crew, everybody sees this when you launch. Sometimes it bugs out currently. Don't know if they fixed that. Hope they did. So we're going to go in with this loadout. You will be locked here. You're not going to be able to drag any more stuff into your inventory from this point. No longer change appearances. You can still trade and craft, though, and I think you can still turn in missions, but I'm not quite sure. This generally takes anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute. Then we'll get in there. I'll try to explain as many mechanics as I can as I go, but there's probably going to be some little ones I'll miss out on. Just a heads up. Don't want you to think this is a total comprehensive guide. I'm not going to go into the nitty gritty. You should just watch my science videos. That gets into some real autism. It's probably Sev or Cute Dispute. They've probably killed all the lobbies and everybody quit for the night. So this is the ship. We'll go out. We'll go over the layout here in a while, but all you need to know is right up here is the cockpit. There are 2 periscopes for people right here, your friends. If you have 4, there's a turret and the pilot's seat. Up there at the top right, you just saw the missions that we have. So we'll go ahead and fly around. It's the same keys as you'd expect. WASD. You can look with the turret. The ship turns with the turret, and it is left click to shoot. Currently, there is no way to reload the turret, so just shoot through. You hear that click, click. There, you're ready to shoot again. There are obstacles you need to watch out for, which I don't see any at the current moment. We are headed towards the spaceport, but let's take a little break here for a sec. That's an exit over there. That's where we leave the raid. Right here's a spaceport. I see a merchant ship, and there is likely another map over there, and that is another player. But he's being chill about it all. Let's see if we can't see this other map. Oh, that's Navy Outpost. I know it's really, really hard to see, but you're just going to have to trust me. So we have 3 options that we could do here. We could go into the spaceport, we could board the merchant frigate, or we could go to the Navy Outpost. But since we're here, I'm going to go ahead and go for the spaceport. Last I heard, no matter which area you pick on these, it doesn't change where you spawn in the map. So just go to any one of these. It's pretty random. I could be wrong. I feel like it changes things, but I don't really know. So you just docked. It will automatically... I thought I heard something. Anyway, you will automatically be off the turret. If you click on this again, you'll leave the raid. Obviously, you can't use this when you're docked. So to get off your ship, just go down these stairs, turn a sharp left, and go straight out to the airlock. You click this, use airlock, and it'll start what we call cycling the airlock. The door goes up. You walk in here, and then you hit, well, if you have friends, make sure they're all in, and then you initiate decompression. The door will close you, and this one will work. You're safe for now. Nobody can get you here. But once you start hearing this open, people can hear you, and they will hear your door. You'll see like a little loading jerk around. I always stand behind here and lean, because people might hear your door opening and camping you. Some people complain about camping a lot. I've not been camped too many times. Okay, so that was an AI. So we're just going to listen for a sec, see if we hear any major things around us. I think we're good. So the door closes behind you. If you want to leave, you need to have the captain's key card you came in with. That guy messed me up. So this is a good time to go over the inventory. It's still the same you saw earlier. This is the remaining amount of time you have left, so we have 21 minutes left. This is your health. This bar right here says we're at half health, 58%. This black is what's missing. This white is pain. White does not get removed unless you take painkillers or some other thing. We're going to use some bandages, so if you just middle click, you'll quick use things. There's no sense in right clicking, hitting use, just middle mouse button, and you'll heal right up. Let's see if this will get all the way to the top so I can show you the pain. No, it won't. Again, we have our core contracts listed here. We've got to gather those 3 M1 helmets if we come across them. But we have these raid missions. These are the ones I were telling you about earlier. Good lord. So this is the faction that's giving them and what quest it will, or how much XP it will give you. So this is for the Central Empire. Gives us 25 extra. We need to destroy 4 space mines. So those are outside. read the admin spaceport manifest, so we can do that while we're here. I know where that's at. And deactivate the Navy outpost cannon system. So we'd have to fly over the Navy outpost to do that. Since we're here, we're going to go ahead and go for the admin office. So I don't expect to teach you the maps here. That's something you're going to have to learn on your own. But something to keep a note of things that are lootable. These boxes are lootable. You just click on things and you can see, okay, this is a medical crate. Drag and drop. Click. See what we got here. Hit left control and click to quick move things. You can do that in raid. Here's this guy we killed. Can look through his stuff. He has one of those helmets I'm looking for. So I'll go ahead and take that. And I will go ahead and use his bandage by, again, middle clicking. He actually has a bigger backpack than me, so I'm going to go ahead and move this stuff here. I'm going to hit Alt-click to drop my old backpack. Again, Alt-click to quick discard. Drag my new backpack over here, sort things, and we'll go ahead and take his gun for the fun of it. Okay, we've killed and looted our first, that was an AI. And now we're going to try to make our way to the spaceport manifest. Obviously, we hear some sort of fighting here. See, I'm not going to try to push this fight because I just don't need to, nor do I want to. I'm lower geared. I'm a newer player. No sense in dying for no reason. So let's go try to loop around here. Like I said, we very well might die here, and that's totally fine. Again, it is 100% a part of the game. So somebody's been through here. You'll start to pick these things up by saying the dead bodies, of course, but then like this door I know spawns closed. There is another objective right here. If we had it, we would take it, but we don't have it, so. So I hear a lot of gunfire where we need to go. So that makes me nervous. So I just wanted to stop the video for just a second here. I'll try not to do this in these raids, but this is something I was editing and I really felt drawn to go ahead and explain to you guys, because this is probably one of the more important things you need to understand about Marauders and about these types of games in general. And I didn't really explain this while I was raiding because obviously my mind's in raid mode, not necessarily just explaining mode. So when we came across this area, this cargo room, this is the cargo report manifest is where this is located on the spaceport. And I'm using context clues to piece together a story of this area like a freaking detective. And that's what you need to be doing too. So when I first see this scene, I'm assuming a player spawned behind me in the airlock. He ran into this cargo report room. He left, went down these stairs, and down that hallway. Now that's a possibility. That's what I'm thinking right now. Okay, this is safe. A player's gone from here. I'm still being cautious and assuming he might be close, but that body down there definitely shows me that, okay, maybe he's gone. But this all changes on its head when I jump down off of the railing and I see that opened door. There's that gated door that's open. And again, I know that spawn's closed. And again, this is stuff you'll pick up along the way. You're not going to know these things. I understand that. But that door spawns closed. So now we have two thought processes. With that door open, I assume the story is still all the same. But instead of that guy going out that other hallway we pointed out, I'm thinking he went out this gated door. It's a possibility. The other possibility is that this guy came through this door and he took that door up to the cargo report rather than leaving through it. But either way, what this tells me, the main thing is that another player has been nearby here and I'm likely getting close to him. I'm on his trail. And if I'm trying to just get my quests done and get a little bit of loot, I don't want to run into another player. This is what I'm talking about with weighing your pros and cons and weighing your options. Because again, is the admin manifest important to me? No, I can show you guys how to complete another quest. This isn't a quest guide. So I'm just trying to teach you how to use the context clues and things you need to be thinking about while you're in a raid. I'm serious. This is like one of the most important things you can learn, because when you're one step ahead of your opponent, when you know that there's a possibility that another player is nearby or that you're hunting another player, especially if you're doing PvP, which this is a tactic they use all the time, is hunting players. This is clues. This guy is nearby. Did he go down this hallway? Did he go down this other hallway? We don't know, but it gives you a clue of where other players might be in the map. So you're listening for the gunshots. Not only that, but you're using these context clues to paint a picture of how this all might have went down. And that's so important, and I want you guys to remember that. Sorry I didn't explain this better in raid, but again, I just wanted to stop the video and explain this. It's important. Learn what doors spawn closed. Learn where enemies spawn. Look at the dead bodies. There's so many context clues. So just wanted to stop. Let's get back into it. You can look around for more boxes to loot. None of these are lootable. Something like this here is. Another thing to keep in mind is that door is open. That spawn's closed as well. There's a lot of verticality to the maps. So if you wanted to, you can drop down here, take a look around. These boxes, again, are lootable. It's a food can if we wanted it. Some paper. I don't really need that for anything. Let's go up here and take a look around. Oh, this is perfect. This is a hidden stash. These are throughout all of the maps, and they contain some pretty good... Okay, see? They have some pretty good loot. That is a gold bullion. One of the most valuable items in the game. Little Nova, spelled L3L. Nova has some really good guides for hidden stashes on all of the maps that he keeps updated. I would go check him for in-depth guides on stuff like that. There's another one here too. We'll just take a little quick gander at it and look at that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that because, again, I need those helmets. And at that point, with a gold bullion, 2 items, I might just go ahead and call that a raid. Did I do much? Absolutely not. But did I get what I wanted done? Yes. I got 2 of the helmets I need for a quest. I've got a gold bullion, which is going to get me a decent amount of money. So, yeah, at this point, I would probably call a raid. Yep, that was an AI. It doesn't always tell you. It will always tell you in the post-raid screen, of course, whether you killed a player or an AI. So in that case, I'm pretty sure it was an AI. They just kind of have a certain feeling about them. Another thing to look for is players have key cards. Now, not everybody has key cards, but a lot of them do. So, well, since we didn't get too much kills and cool PvP montage stuff from that raid, let's go ahead and go over the ship right quick, and we can learn a few things from that. So we're going to start back up here where we spawned in. A lot of times you'll spawn back here, here, or here. These are generally spawn points. If you walk right back here, this is that free loot table I was telling you about. You pick up a Luger, 9mm, pouch rig. This stuff is always here, and it's just free for the taking. You can literally load into a raid and take this stuff. Of course, I'm not going to have space for that. And go from there. All of the important stuff that you'll need on the ship is up here. So again, these are just little periscopes that the other players in your team can look through while you're flying around. But everything else that's important is down here and to the back. So instead of going straight through to the airlock, we're going to turn around and sprint backwards. Note a fire extinguisher here and here, as well as a fire extinguisher here. This is the other quote-unquote main part of the ship you'll be using a lot. These are breach pods. These are unlimited uses currently. You can use these as many times as you want. So if you breached out, came back in, breached out, came back in, that's totally fine. So all of your players can use them. And then up here is your engine. If you look, it has a certain amount of health points. If the ship gets damaged, this goes down. And it goes down by a lot per shot. To fix it, all you do is simply grab a fire extinguisher and spray it. So that looks like this. The fire extinguisher uses a main weapon slot. You would just do this, and you'd see it going up. They have a limited use, which makes a nice thunk whenever you get done. Alt-click to get that out of there. Go pick up our Liberator shotgun again. And that's that. Another thing to know, even if you're disabled, it used to say abandoned ship. That's not true. They changed that finally, but just in case you are confused, you can repair the ship whenever you're disabled. So we are safe currently. We are still technically docked, even though we're cycling airlock, so nobody should be able to get in here to kill us, and nobody can kill us from outside in space. We are in a docked state. So as long as nobody boarded your ship at any point in time, you should be totally good. So now as soon as I click on this, we will be back out in space. So again, now we just got to look for the exit, which is right over here, and just start flying towards it. So again, was that the most chatty of all raids? No, absolutely not. But again, we furthered the goals that I needed. I'm getting my main quest partially done, and I picked up a gold bullion, and I can sell a lot of the gear I picked up if I don't want it, which honestly I don't. So we're making money to keep furthering our goals, and then we are obviously getting quest items done, which is also important. That guy out there looks like he's either dead in space. I know he might be hard to see, but he's either dead in space or he breached out as soon as he spawned. Last I checked, too, there is no damage for whenever you slam into walls, so I guess we'll just do a little quick Marauder science episode. Yeah, you're still good. Same way with breach pods. Okay, let me get back to the raid screen, or my stash screen, and we'll talk about it. So, welcome to the post-raid screen. This is a new addition to Marauders. It's really great. This will tell you the amount of XP you gained. You get a 2x XP bonus for escaping. Again, this tells you how much more XP you need, what kills you got, so none of those were players. They were all raiders. These are all the stats you have, number of kills, amount looted, blah, 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 blah. Good stuff. Pay attention to that if you're curious about that. So we're going to go back to our stash by hitting the gear tab. Let's get rid of this. We don't want this. Definitely don't want that. We want to sell that. These we want to keep. Medical crate we might need later on, but we'll probably just sell it. The ammo, that's nice to keep around. The shotgun I'm just going to go ahead and sell. Weapon I'm going to go ahead and sell. The fabric I'm going to keep because I need that for some crafting. Food can, I'm going to bring it as a secondary just for bandages. So as you can see, our weapon is damaged. So to repair that, just right click, pay the repair cost, which is $513. And it makes the sweetest of sweet sounds. So let's go to trader. Let's go ahead and sell off this stuff we don't want. So this is gold bullion. That's this nice amount. Let's go ahead and sell this, sell that. Don't really want that. Don't really want that. And now, just like that, we're up to $50,000. So it's really, really simple. We went in, we didn't do much, but that's okay. We got money. We furthered quests. I just keep reiterating that because I don't want you people to think that you need to be a Chad to play Marauders. Just play how you want. This is a little victory in of itself. I got out with some of my quest items. So now I'm going to go in with one of my personal favorite loadouts of all time, which is the Club. A lot of people don't like the Club because it was nerfed. I, however, think those people are stupid because the Club is still king. You can craft the Club for literally just this and buy 9mm from most of the traders. I generally bring in just a rig, a lockpick, a backpack, a few bandages. If you wanted to, you could run this totally naked. So here we are again. So we spawned back right. Let's run straight on ahead. But let's wait a sec. Let's see what our quests are. Kill 5 personnel with the PO8. Examine the furnace workers. Examine the terraformer production manifest. So that immediately tells me that the mine has spawned and the terraformer has spawned. So if we were to look around, we'd probably see that. We spawned near the terraformer. I do have another guide on tips and tricks. It's my lesser known tips and tricks. If you haven't seen that, it'll tell you each of the different locations and what they look like. A little dated with some of the info, but actually, now that I think about it, only the Club has been changed since then. So Those are mines there. That's one of the obstacles I was talking about. Don't run into those. You can shoot them or you can miss them like me. They do explode, but you're generally safe. That down there is a turret platform. If we were to get close to that, it would start shooting at us. Same thing with that. It doesn't matter if we're in a pod or not, it'll shoot. So let's go ahead and dock. So this time, since we've landed at Terraformer, I'm going to want to try to get that quest done at the production manifest. That's going to get me Kingdom Alliance and some money. So it's always well deserved. There is such a thing as fatigue, which is... actually, it's down there in the bottom right below my green health bar. When you sprint too much, you start to get tired, which eventually lowers your overall stamina and makes it harder to, well, sprint for as long. So keep that in mind. You can remove that by eating chocolate and stuff like that. So we spawned on the totally wrong side for getting the production manifest, but that's okay. We can just make our way over there, and hopefully it'll actually be cleared out by the time we get there too, which will help. Something else that's super important to keep in mind, all raid locations have breach pods that you can just leave in. So there's no reason, if you ever get lost, you can just find one of these. In Terraformer, they're all along these halls. Maybe I'll do a guide locating all these sometime, but they're in these hallways in Terraformer. That's the main thing to keep in mind. Keep an eye out for AI. Here's some boxes we could loot if we wanted to. Ooh, that was something kind of big. What was that? Oh, flak vest. We don't want that. So I'm constantly just sprinting and looking to my left, and I hear gunfire, so I know that it's going to be hot where I'm going. But we're still going for it, because again, like I said, not necessarily scared to push fights, but I don't like pushing them. Just never been a strong suit. That's another player. We don't care though. Okay, let's pause the video right quick and talk about what just happened and the thought process behind why it happened and why we did what we did. So we killed that AI and we came down a hallway. I checked that corner down there, and as I did it, a player ran past. I didn't have a good shot on him, so he ran past me. I'm assuming he's going to come up and peek me. We're not going to be scared of this fight. We were going to engage him. We're not in the best scenario, but what choice did we have? This, at the moment, I felt confident enough to try to take the fight. Well, when he didn't peek this corner, I got nervous, so I rechecked where he came from, and sure enough, he had another buddy with him. So now my thought process is, I am in a hallway with zero cover. I have a subpar weapon, a subpar piece of gear, and this fight is probably unwinnable. So we blast off a few shots at the one guy when he does peek to cover our escape. As we are escaping, it gets even more hot and heavy, and we get shot in the back. Now, I think this is an AI that's shooting me from the middle of the terraformer back there. However, if it's another player, or it is an AI but he's not at the tower, he's likely coming towards me. So now there's no way I'm going back in there to try to reposition and win this fight. Because I've got two guys in there, and I've got a guy coming up behind me. However, I don't want to be a coward and just run back the way I came. I still want to further my goal, and that's getting the production manifest. So we use our map knowledge to circumvent both of the players and the AI by running down this hallway. Again, we use the map knowledge we have to turn around and check this, because I know there's two ways into that hallway those guys were, and sure enough, he is peeking me. There's no point in trying to take that, not even him. I mean, if I was a little more ballsy with this, and if I was chasing PvP, where I thought these guys were going to be more of a threat, I would have peeked and tried to kill the guy. But that guy knew where I was going. He heard me. That's something you got to understand as well. He knew I was going to be down at the end of this little tunnel area, so he's peeking me. Soon as he sees me, he fires. He has the angle on me, which means now I have to start being aggressive, but he knows right where I'm at. There's no sense in any of it. I just want to go show you guys the quest, so that's my thought process. My other idea is once we start getting there, we'll go through more thought processes after we get the quest. So, sorry for stopping again. Just another thing I think you guys need to know. We're not about that currently. So this, right down here, is our mission. Hold it down for 8 seconds. You can look around. As long as you're holding F, it'll complete. And that ding means it's done. Now we have to escape now. There's no way of getting around that. If we don't escape, we don't complete the mission. No rewards. So what's my plan now? Obviously, to get back to my ship, I've basically got to go back through the way I came. There is another way to cycle around, but I'm not sure I'm going to do that. It's through some tunnels. The best option before us would to be go back through this little hallway here that we just came through and get in that breach pod. But I'm afraid that those players are still there. And we're not really worried about players at the moment. So what we're going to do is try to get there as safely as we can. So crouching is pretty quiet, but it's actually louder on their side than it is for you. So do keep that in mind. Just think I did hear a gunshot. Yep. I think that's the same people who are shooting at me. So let's go. We got our mission. That's what we wanted to do. Again, not a very exciting mission, but it is what it is. So to use a breach pod, it's basically the same as driving a ship. It has different speeds, as you can see down there in the bottom right. And you just click to boost. Watch out for the mines right there. If you hit them, you will blow up. The engine cools down. You are very vulnerable after boosting. You're very, very slow, and people can hit you with relative ease. In fact, there is another person in a breach pod. That's exactly what that looks like. So we'll go ahead and do that. Another thing to note about breach pods is you cannot enter raid locations in them. So if we tried to fly into that, we would not be able to do it. We have to have a ship. I'm just going to do one more, and I'm going to try to get as aggressive as I possibly can. That way you can just see how I play. Like I said, even though we're kind of ratting around right now and doing very minimal things, we are furthering goals. We are gaining money, we're getting a little bit of XP, we're learning the maps, we're avoiding players for now because we're not a PvP Chad. But you can also tell how I'm not scared the whole time either. I'm not, creeping around every corner and, trying to be quiet every time I hear a player. You're quiet enough to listen. Just stop and listen on occasion. When you've got about a quarter of your sprint left, that's generally when I would suggest to calm down, see what's going on, and go from there. Okay, we're going to go ahead and pick up this extra little bit of 9mm because, again, our gun takes it. So, hop right here. Activate the asteroid mine air processor, destroy a radar tower, examine the prisoner manifest. Easy enough, I think. Okay, well, I was going to destroy that radar tower, but I guess the other player has that as well. So we're going to get aggressive and go to a high loot zone because we've got a good spawn for it. Hey, he's got that last helmet we need. So, main loot areas down here are this guy's body. War bonds, one of the better items in the game for loot. Down here, he's got a gold coin, very good. This is a nickel ore sample, comes in later for a daily hand-in. Metal scraps crafting, we'll take it. Be sure to check by this guy's body, sometimes he has stuff that spawns next to him. Those are other players. Okay, so this is getting real hot and freaking heavy here. So there's no way to get out of here except to die. There's an entrance here. There's an entrance there. There, everybody's coming down here. Yep. Well, it could have went worse. And the loot was okay. We got one Marauder kill there, 5 Raiders. Got killed to a shot to the body by an MP40, and this is the player. If you ever think they're cheating, which that guy was not cheating, you can hit the report button here. Again, here's all your stuff. You only get half of the XP, I believe, when you die. So that would have been double that. So a little over 500 XP. How long your raid lasted, stuff like this. So this is a very handy little thing. So again, this happens. Does it suck? Sure. But man, that was a really fun fight. I had a lot of fun. It was a cluster. So, okay. So the last thing I want to talk about today is breaching and how it works and some tactics you can use. Now, again, like I've admitted in the past, I'm not a PvP Chad, so I don't do a heck of a lot of breaching. At least not with the intent of killing other players. I generally just, breach the merchant ship and capital ship and stuff like that. I will breach other players here just to show you that it can be done and kind of how that works and what's to be expected. But I don't expect to do very well, just being frank with you. You basically just hop in your breach pod and press F on another ship. And when you do that, well, you will do a little animation and board the other player. You will spawn in a random location near the rear of their ship, sometimes to the sides. So let's see if we can't board somebody. So a lot of the PvP chads don't even mess around. We just go straight down here, straight out into a breach pod. This is what you will see a lot of the streamers doing. It is a way to farm PvP kills. Which is what they're about. Fast action and all that stuff. Like I said, not really my thing. Not judging if you're interested in that sort of thing. But, okay, we've got a guy right down there. But we might be able to catch him. Though I am worried he is an AI and not a player. Again, we need to watch out for mines. And we need to watch out for turrets. Because they can and will destroy us. You just hit F. They're getting destroyed. So this is an AI scout ship. So everybody on here will be AI. That is just somebody hitting the ship. It's not them breaching. Whoo, whoo. And there's another quest item we need. A helmet. Touch that here. Obviously somebody was attacking this ship, so we don't want to linger forever. A lot of the PvP chads, when they first breach, they will go ahead and heal themselves up. And that's just because it's easy. Here's a player, so let's go for it. It's just like a PvP chad. And he can't do anything right now. He is basically stuck. Because if he hops back on his turret, he's a solo. He can't keep flying his ship. So if he attempts to fly his ship away, obviously I can just sneak up behind him. We'll taunt him. Yep. Got him. Well, with that, my friends, I think that is all I can show you as far as in-raid goes. But that's kind of how I handle breaching situations. Like I've said before, not the most exhaustive thing I've ever done in my life, but you get a good, decent idea of how this all works. Well, my friends, in all honesty, I think that's all I can really teach you for now. There's so much more I could show you, depot doors, more PvP tactics that we use, how to kind of play the style we play, but in all honesty, those are probably better for more specific guides rather than this big overall guide we're doing right now. So I hope I've taught you something. I hope you can go in a little bit more confidently, and I just hope I helped. That's the main thing that I care about. I want you to do the best you possibly can. It really pains me to see people get this game and have a really hard time struggling with it, but I promise you, you can do it. Everything's going to be okay. If you would like to subscribe and like and all that good stuff, that would really, really help us out. We try to put out Marauders content quite frequently. Try to get a new video out about once a week. We so far haven't missed a video on Friday. It's not always Marauders related, but we try to keep it within the extraction shooter genre or just shooters that we enjoy. Not going to say we'll never try other things. There's always room for other things on the table, but more hardcore shooters and stuff like that. So again, I really appreciate you guys watching this video. If you've made it this whole way, hats off to you. You deserve some sort of reward for doing such a task. And if you ever have any questions, please drop them down in the comments. I'll try my best to answer them. If you want to, check out our tips and tricks videos that we have. We also have our Marauder Science series where we go in depth and see about some of the mysteries and myths, kind of like a Mythbusters, if you will, what can be done, what can't be done, and all that good stuff. So, again, really appreciate you guys. I hope you have a wonderful time, and Merry Christmas.